So I didn't invent an app, I didn't start a business, didn't flip any houses, and I didn't inherit anything. But still, I managed to build $1 million net worth just working a blue collar job. And today I'm going to go over my exact system, step by step, that got me there. There's really no shortcuts, just hard work, no hype, just a repeatable blueprint, if you will. So let's get started. So step one of my financial blueprint is that I avoided the financial landmines that are out there. You can't build wealth if you're constantly destroying it. And this means credit card debt, new car payments. Every time you get a raise, you increase your lifestyle. Every raise didn't mean a bigger lifestyle for me, but it meant a bigger investment rate. So most people focus on earning more, but wealthy people focus on keeping more of that wealth. So the second step of my financial blueprint is that I max my 401k contributions out every year. So this was the engine to my $1 million net worth. First, I capture the full company match. If you're blessed enough to work at a company that gives you free money, always take advantage of that. Then I work toward maxing out my 401k each and every year. Now, I'm not sure I did that every year, but I came fairly close. Because tax advantage investing compounds faster. I was able to put more money into my 401k pre-tax than I would with a Roth, especially in the early years of me working. So it lowered my taxable income. I had a smaller tax bill at the end of the year. I don't have kids, no dependents, anything like that. So I always had a pretty decent tax bill, me and my wife did. So it helped out with that. It's automatic investing. Every 2 weeks I got paid. Some money went to 401k. And then it's long-term growth. It's that compound interest doing its thing. It's that big, powerful engine. And it's really hard to stop compound interest once you get a decent amount of money into an account. So over time, this became hundreds of thousands of dollars constantly working for me in the background. So step three of my financial blueprint was that I bought my home in 2018. So obviously we all know what COVID did to home prices, and I was blessed enough to get into a decent home about 1 year into my blue collar job. So March 2018, I bought my first house. It wasn't flashy, just a basic brick spec house, if you will, but I think it was 10 years old at the time. And it wasn't maxing out what the bank said I could borrow or I could afford. But it was pretty smart. It's just me and my wife and my little dog. I bought before prices exploded. It was a decent house, nothing extravagant, but just a good functioning house. But since then, the value has roughly doubled. I think I paid $145 for my home for this house, and I could probably get $280, $290 for it. Now, I did put some money in it, countertops. I built a shop, that type thing. But I mean, 100,000 plus gain is pretty nice. But that wasn't luck. It was really just buying within my means. I had a plan to pay this house off in 10 years or so, and I actually was blessed enough to do it. We locked in a low rate. I think my first rate was a 4.6% mortgage rate, and I think I refinanced that in 2021 for like a 2.8, and then I actually paid that off. And obviously I'm here 8 years later. I'm still living in this house. Like I said, I put some money into it, but I didn't. Every time you move, you spend more money, so we're going to stay here for a little bit longer or until we build our forever home. But real estate was a really big player in my $1 million net worth goal, and it certainly helped me out. So step 4 of my financial blueprint was I invested almost probably 80% of my overtime income. I was blessed to get a job that they offered overtime, and instead of spending that on toys, I tried to invest most of it, probably 70-80% if I had to guess, honestly. But overtime can trap you, or it can really boost your financial net worth. Most people work overtime and they go buy toys, they go buy wheels and tires for the truck or side-by-side, things like that. But instead, I did this. I worked overtime and I increased my investments. Every time I worked a shift, I put a couple $100 in E-Trade. And that difference compounds massively over time. Over the past 10 years, those overtime hours have at least doubled, I'm sure. But overtime certainly was fuel to my net worth growth, if you will. And without that, I wouldn't even be close to $1 million. But the fifth step of my financial blueprint is that, yes, I invested in my retirement accounts, but also built after-tax brokerages as well. Retirement accounts are great, IRAs, 401ks, but there's so many restrictions on that money. For the most part, you can't get them out until age 59 and a half, without paying a 10% penalty. I want to retire early at age, hopefully 45. So I had to build the after-tax brokerages so I can have some liquidity until I reach that age after I retire from my job. That's kind of my bridge to early financial freedom, if you will. But I invested into these after-tax brokerages consistently, no matter what the market was doing. If the markets went down, I invested. If they went up and I thought they were overpriced, I still invested. I was very consistent in not only investing in 401ks, but buying, the ETFs, the S&P 500, the VTIs in these after-tax brokerages. And that's really going to help me out when I finally retire. So just looking back over the past decade or so, as I grew my net worth to $1 million, there's really no secret. It's really boring. It's really consistent. I know you can do this faster if you go start a business, a big side hustle, things like that, but I'm kind of lazy. I'm not going to lie. There's no lottery ticket. There's no crypto moonshot here. It's just discipline, being smart about, taxable accounts, retirement accounts, smart real estate investing. Don't go, buying a house is awesome, and more than likely they'll appreciate in value, but 2008 also happened, right? So be smart about your home purchases, if you even buy a home. And every time you get a raise, invest that money and don't spend it. But if you're working a blue collar job and think wealth isn't possible, it really is. It's all about your your habits versus your income, right? It requires a system, and this was mine. Basically nothing too fancy, right? I invested into 401ks, retirement accounts. I lived below my means. I worked overtime, but also saved that overtime. So if this helped you, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you again next week.